Mitchell begins with trade union lawyer Walter Dini murdering a burglar. The police are called to investigate, with Dini claiming he killed in self-defense. Mitchell suspects that isn't the case and wants to nail Dini for murder. To get Mitchell off of Dini, the police chief puts him on James Arthur Cummins. Cummins is linked to drug trafficking and stolen merchandise. Mitchell is to stay on Cummins until either he cracks or incriminates himself. Despite the reassignment, Mitchell is still eyeing Dini. Dini sends Greta, a prostitute, to distract Mitchell. The deeper Mitchell gets into both Cummins and Dini's affairs, the more negative attention he receives. Soon, other criminal associates have their sights on Mitchell. Mitchell is a tough film to get through, much like The Atomic Brain, but this comes from the fact that there are no likable characters to root for, particularly the character of Mitchell. He's not charming, he's a slouch, or maybe this is just a reflection of the effort Joe Don Baker put into the role. Everyone seems to be on autopilot while acting in this movie. I think the significance of this film is boosted merely for the fact that this film was on the final episode for Joel Hodgson as the marooned human in space. I find it hard to believe that this movie was actually intended for a theatrical release. Apparently, I'm not the only one who is dispelled by this. Vincent Canby of the New York Times said the film resembles something made for television than for a cinematic screen, with the basic cinematography of Harry Stradling Jr. and the editing of Fred Chalack. Yet, distributor Allied Artists thought this movie was perfect for the theater-going audience. The theatrical version is very different from the TV edit used for MST3K. There are more risque shots of Linda Evans post-coitus. The gunshots are more graphic, notably the wounds received by Morgan Paul and Martin Balsam. The dune buggy chase between Mitchell and Dini shows why Saxon suddenly disappears from the film. If you see the original film, you'll be filled in on the blanks left by the Misty edit. Director Andrew V. McLaglen had a number of westerns in his filmography. With the westerns dying out, he had to adapt to the films available. In the 1970s, it was the gritty cop films like Dirty Harry and The French Connection. Mitchell tried to be such a picture, and McLaglen did his best with the material. Ian Kennedy Martin wrote the script. Ian is the younger brother of Troy Kennedy Martin, who wrote the script for The Italian Job. Larry Brown and Jerry Steiner wrote the music for Mitchell. They did the Wachikawa guitar theme you heard of the segue. They also wrote the classic track My Mitchell, performed by Hoyt Axton.
My Mitchell, what would your mama say if she ever knew that you were prowling out and carrying on that way, cracking in heads and jumping in and out of beds and hanging around the criminal scene? Do you think you are some kind of a star like the guys on the movie screen?
Joe Don Baker gives an uninvested performance in the title role. This was only 2 years after his iconic performance as Buford Pusser in Walking Tall. He comes off as tired, uninvigorated. It reeks of a paycheck movie. Look at almost any scene he's in, whether it's across from Saxon or Balsam or his superiors at the police station. He doesn't emote. Actually, I take that back. During one of the sex scenes with Evans, he's smiling, which kind of made me sick. Martin Balsam plays James Arthur Cummins. Given this was the mid-70s, I'm sure he was quick to get this film out of the way so he could go back to making films in Italy, like Confessions of a Police Captain, as well as Blood and Diamonds. Yet this is also the period where he made Little Big Man, Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, and All the President's Men. John Saxon is having a devilish good time as Walter Dini. He's clearly hamming it up as the bad guy that Mitchell wants to take down himself. People either know Saxon from his work on Enter the Dragon or for the Nightmare on Elm Street series. There's no shortage of great films starring this man. Linda Evans plays Greta. This was before she became a household name with the TV series Dynasty. Merlin Olsen plays Benton, the henchman for Cummins. Olsen, interestingly enough, appeared on an episode of the TV series based off of Walking Tall. He was also the star of the show Father Murphy, which puts Crow's riff completely into context.
I dreamed I was Father Murphy.
Mitchell is an unenjoyable experience because that sense of misery is on everyone's face as they plod along in the movie. Well, except for John Saxon. He's having a fun time playing a bad guy in Dini. This is one that needs the riffs of Joel and the Bots.